The next step is to heat up the handle section, and then we're going to smash it sideways. That way we can establish our handle. We're also going to be heating these sections up very slightly just to get them to puff up with the handle. Because what we're trying to do is establish a truly non-bending, or as much as we can with a hollow handle. A non-bending handle. This is going to reduce hand shot. It's going to make the bow a little more consistent in that way. So here we go. I'm just going to heat this up evenly until it becomes soft enough to form, and then I'm going to form it. So here we go. So now that it's warm enough, I'm going to go ahead and just squeeze it from the sides. Schedule 80 is much harder to form than Schedule 40 pipe. It takes a little work. So what I'm going to do is simply use my weight to push as much as I can from the side to get the handle shape I want. Then I'm going to go back and true up the fades or the tapers so that the bow lines up true. Alright, there we go. So the handle's pretty thin. It's got a nice shape to it. So I'm just going to go back and heat these sides up and then bring the handle back. There we go. So I'm going to press this down, make sure everything's centered. Then just take it and sight down it, make sure that everything's lined up straight. And then give the bow just a little bit of reflex, not too much, just a little bit. Alright, so there it is. Now all we have to do are cut some nocks. So here we go. Alright, so the next step is to cut the nocks. So what I'm going to do is measure an inch down from the end, start with my nock file, and then use a half round file to finish it up, creating a nock that looks a lot like this. It's really simple. It'll hold the string fairly securely, but it also maximizes the strength of the tip, especially because a lot of the strain will be placed right in this section right here as opposed to out here. So here it is. I'm going to go ahead, put a nock on the other side, and then we'll get to string this up. Alright, here's the finished bow. Now I have a temporary string of paracord on here. And I made this just so we can see what it looks like strung. So here we go. Here it is. So everything looks good. This is the top loop. Yep. finished string on this, the paracord string is a little shorter than it needs to because paracord stretches, but the finished string should be about 54 inches long on this bow. So here we go. I'm going to draw it for you guys. Here it is. So all that there's left to do is to sand it, clean it up, and then paint it and finish it all up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Here we go. Alright, so I've got the bow painted. So here it is painted up. Just a real simple green. So I wanted to show you guys a backing material that I've found that I've been using on a lot of bows lately. So here it is. Now on first glance, it really does look like snakeskin. And even at close inspection, the detail is really nice. It's actually better than most of the artificial snakeskins on the market. You can see. Here's another bow. As you probably saw right there, this is duct tape, just duct tape. It's really nice. It's one of the nicest duct tape patterns I've seen. The duct tape itself is very thin and it applies really well. So I've been using this a lot for PVC bow backings. I figure it's nice, it looks good, and it kind of fits that whole theme of, you know, PVC and duct tape. They just seem to go together. And it's kind of nice to put PVC that doesn't look like a PVC pipe bow that doesn't look like PVC pipe and combine it with duct tape that doesn't look like duct tape. So here it is. I'm going to be applying this to the back of the bow. So I'm just going to be putting it on both limbs. I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. Here we go. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I've put the duct tape backing on. You can see I went ahead and cut along the edges here just to clean it up and make it blend with the rest of the bow. Now, I've also gone ahead and wrapped the handle in leather. You can see I've got a really simple wrap. This is very similar to the leather wrap on the Hobbit inspired bow. And now I'm going to be putting a rest on here. I'm basically going to be using a tab style rest like you've seen me use before. This is basically just a small tab of PVC, 3 inches long, with about half an inch of the top curled over to create the actual arrow rest. The way this is going to work is it's actually going to go underneath the wrap here, underneath the leather wrap. So you could wrap over this and put this in as you were going if you wanted some sort of arrow shelf or arrow pass up here. I mean, an arrow pass or strike plate up on the top of the bow. The way we're doing it here, you can actually insert it a little ways down. So you have an integral strike plate right here. So basically you want to just figure out where you want the rest to be. And then you take a knife or a Sharpie or something and you make a cut. Make a mark. You take your mark and you make about a, say, a half an inch wide cut in the top. You can see right there. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to press this into the handle. Now I made this handle really tight, so it's going to take a little bit of doing to get it in there. So I'm going to go ahead, push this in, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. Okay, so I really made this handle wrap super tight. Usually it doesn't end up this hard to do. What I ended up having to do was take a piece of leather, I put it between the rest and the bow. I used a hammer with a little rubber end cap on it, and I managed to pound it in here. So here's the rest installed. The arrow shelf, it's not going anywhere. It's really nice, it adds a nice grip to the bow and a nice place for the arrow to go. So here it is. And if you guys watch Mike from Warrior Bows, he actually has a similar method of making an arrow rest, except he uses a golf tee, which is a really neat idea. You don't have to go through the work of actually making a PVC rest like this if you went that way. So yeah, you can check that out. I'll put a link in the description. But here's the bow so far. And it's pretty much done. All that's left to do now is to shoot it out. So here we go.